4:15 in the morning on a Friday, heading out to Sheboygan, Wisconsin to pick up a new car, the red 1990 SPG. It's a little early, it's a little cold. I've got my shake, I'm ready to go. We're gonna get to the airport, get across country and pick this car up, and hopefully it'll get me back home. All right, made it to Milwaukee. Got the Kia Soul rented here, and I'm gonna make the hour drive up to Sheboygan. I've never been to Milwaukee. It looks like a fairly straightforward city, but we will get going and see if we can get through it here. We'll take some pictures along the way. Alright, so we're driving through the middle of Milwaukee here on our way up to Sheboygan to pick up the Saab.
Stay on I-43 North.
There's my instructions on how to get there. Kind of a cool day today, but anxious to get a look at the lake over here on the right side of the street.
On I-43 North for 26 miles.
So far I've had 2 flights that were actually early, so I'm hoping that's a good omen for a good couple of days of travel here. Do a quick review of the car, kind of take a peek at it. We'll as we get home, we'll take a closer look at it, but just wanted to show off the new project here. So picked it up. The guy had a 1966 Austin Healey in his shop, and he had a 66 Mustang and like a 52 Ford F100. Some very neat stuff in his shop. So this is the car. Looks okay. One of the things I had asked him was about the rust, being from sort of a rusty part of the nation, and he told me there wasn't. I'm finding out that that's not exactly true. I'm finding some definite signs of rust here as I get my camera figured out. I'll show you what we're looking at. You know, it's got some rust in here. We've got gas cap that needs to be adjusted there. Definitely have some rust there that we need to take care of, and a little bit of fender well rust there in their rear fenders. The front fenders he replaced and repainted. They look pretty good, though I did see some bubbling there, which is a little bit of a disappointment. So not quite what I was hoping for, but I was prepared for that, just knowing where the car was from and the age and the fact that the fenders had been repaired. I knew that that spot was on the back hatch there. I've driven it here just a couple miles. I need to get some gas in it and some fuel system cleaner in it, but surprisingly drives fairly well for 180,000 miles. I think it's gonna get me home. So we'll take a quick peek on the interior here. You can see the leather seats have seen better days, but that's to be expected on a vehicle this age. Dash is cracked, which just about every single one of them I've ever seen is cracked, so no surprise there. All right, so news to me as someone who doesn't film very much on his phone, it's a power hog. So I was doing a walk around on the car and battery went dead, so I didn't get to do a full walk around on the car. I am getting later than I wanted to be here at this point, so I'm gonna hit the road here in Sheboygan and heading up towards Green Bay, and Green Bay to Minneapolis, which is where I'll be staying tonight. So I will do a more thorough walk around to the car, but hitting the road today. It's sunny, about 42 degrees, so weather's good. Car seems to be running good. We just filled it up and got some fuel injection cleaner in it. So we're off. I'll take some footage of the drive on the way there. All right, I am in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, and you can see I've got a blanket on. I've got my hat. Basically got no heat, and it is chilly still in Wisconsin. It was fairly warm when I picked the car up. It was in the mid 40s. It's probably into the high 30s now. It's cold. and with no heat, it is a little brutal. So I had to stop at a Walmart here in Chippewa Falls and get some wool socks and a blanket to cover myself and get my hat and my gloves out. So onward, and we are about 120 miles from Minneapolis, which is my stopping point tonight. So other than the heat, the car's doing good. I've got my podcasts cranking on my little Bluetooth here because the radio's not working, which I think we talked about, but car's driving good, rolls right along at 80 or 85 miles an hour, straight and true, doesn't overheat, anything like that. We just don't have any hot water getting through to the heater core, I assume, here. So anyway, we'll get back on the road and hopefully beat the sunlight and get to Minneapolis. All right, got good news and bad news today. As you can look around and see, you'll notice there's snow on the ground, so I wasn't really expecting that. The roads are pretty slick this morning. Got out of Minnesota, about 20 miles out of Minnesota, and pulled over at a parts store, and really happy to report that I was able to fix my heat. There's just a heater control valve, and the dial and the dash just lost connection with it, so I was able to remove a speaker grill back here, reach in, and just manually adjust that, so I've got heat. Car's getting about 25 miles per gallon. You can probably hear that it's idling high, so that'll be one more thing that I've got to fix when I get home. I've got a list of things going on here. So all right, I'm gonna hit the road on to Fargo and hopefully through the Dakotas and into Montana. I'm hoping the roads improve. It looks like we've got a little sunshine, so hopefully the sun will melt off the freeways here. So wish me luck. I checked my tires, they look good. They are all seasoned, so we'll just take it slow and get there when we get there. All right, we made it to Fargo. It's freezing cold here. It's probably 15 degrees or so. It is sunny. The roads have improved. They're pretty much clear once we got out of kind of St. Cloud area. So thankful for that. Car is giving me some grief. It is kind of shuddering at sort of mid throttle. If I put the gas down, it smooths out, and if I let off, it smooths out. So I'm kind of having to feather the throttle and try and keep it really smooth on the highway. I've been able to kind of get it into a kind of into a groove where it's fairly smooth, but that's a problem, and I hope that doesn't get worse here as we progress. But other than that, glad to have heat. Trying to think what else it's doing. The car is just totally smeared with salt. Whatever they put on the roads here is nasty, and I'm sure that's why we've got rusty cars out in this part of the neck, or out in this neck of the woods. So heading on to Miles City. I think I've got about 500 miles to go. Hopefully the sun sticks. Hopefully the car keeps running smooth for me, and we'll keep trucking along here. You've never been to North Dakota, this is what it is. It's been a slow slog. Roads have been icy, lots of blowing snow, so I'm still about 90 miles outside of Bismarck. Was hoping to be rolling in there by now, but it's just been slow. I've been going about 50-55 miles an hour most of the way here. It's finally improving a little bit, but you can see not much to keep that blowing snow off the road, and there's not much to look at out here either. So I got Pandora going. I'm listening to some John Hyatt, just cranking along. Hopefully we get to Bismarck and I'll get a tank of gas and keep heading on to Miles City. We made it to Montana. We just passed through Glendive, and we're about an hour from Miles City, which is where I'm staying tonight. Trying to beat the sunset here. Probably not going to make it, but going to get close. I won't have to travel in the dark too much, but car's doing good. I am kind of figuring out how to feather the throttle to avoid that kind of shudder at a certain speed. It's rolling smooth and driving good, so I'm tired. It's been a long day. I'm ready to get in the hotel room and get some dinner and crash. Gorgeous. All right, it's about 7 in the morning. Left Miles City about a half hour ago. Actually woke up to a dead battery this morning. It was about 3 degrees. I was worried about that. It felt like it was starting pretty weak yesterday. Got in it this morning, turned the key over, and absolutely nothing. So thankfully the hotel I was staying in had a kind of a driveway on a hill. I was able to roll start it and get it heated up and get going this morning. I probably won't turn the car off the rest of the way. I'll have to refuel the car running, which is not something I prefer to do, but we're just going to make sure to get it home here. So nice morning out. The sun's rising behind me. Roads are clear today, so able to make good time. I'm going to be coming into Billings here in about an hour, so keep you posted. We'll take some pictures. The views here are, I think for Montana you forget and you look around and they're pretty gorgeous, so always enjoy the views of Montana. Alright, we made it to Billings about 8:30 in the morning. Clear skies, clear roads. Making good time, hoping to get to Livingston for a gas stop and a bathroom stop, and Livingston to Missoula with no other stops. There'd be a little bit less snow than there is, but man, there is still some snow back here. All right, made it to Bozeman on Sunday morning. It's actually Easter Sunday. Gas fill up. I got myself a chocolate donut and a coffee fill up, and everything's going good so far. So last stretch home, 200 miles. It's made it 1,300, about 1,250 miles so far. Not without some little surprises here or there, but we did fill up here with the car running, which I didn't really want to do, and got some looks, but that's all right. It all worked out. So we'll get home and get this through a car wash. It's just filthy with salt and road grime and everything else. So we'll do that and get it home, and hopefully I can relax and take the rest of Easter Sunday with my family. Been a long couple of days. My back is screaming at me. Can't get comfortable. Almost home. Coming through the Hellgate Canyon on the last stretch into Missoula. Feels good to be home. Got about 7 miles to go, and I can say we made it. Alright, made it to my local car wash just a couple miles away from home. You can see the car is filthy with road salt and grime and all kinds of stuff. You can also hear it's idling really high. It's idling about 3,000 RPM, which is probably a vacuum issue that I'll have to track down. But just do another quick walk around of the car here before I get it to the garage and start taking it apart and seeing what I've got underneath all this. I did hit a chunk of ice in North Dakota and lost the side portion of my front spoiler there. You can see also had a side marker that was loose. I had to stop in Bismarck and get some duct tape to duct tape that down. So we'll get it through the car wash, clean it up here, and happy to be home. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll kind of keep track of the progress we make, and hopefully you guys stick with me and watch as we go.